I get so pumped up about these lives, I don't even set my camera up correctly. How's it going, everybody? Okay, so we're going to talk today about the game has changed, okay? If you're just posting like I'm focusing on the sort of Chicago Midway Blitz that federal ICE agency is putting the strategy that's coming to Chicago, and so I'm very focused on this subject, and so you get a lot of ICE immigration posts, right? And then you got a lot of trolls that are just posting like these Jeffrey Epstein pictures. And so that's just so ridiculous. So let me just get into it here a little bit. So this is the post that kind of went mini viral, and the only reason that I'm bringing it up is that LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn said, "Hey man, your post got 100, so now it's got 420 views." And when you go sort of like mini viral, when you go viral, the post sort of has its own energy, and you keep refreshing it, and you see the numbers. And so over the spring, I was doing a lot of live broadcasts, but I'm rebuilding. I'm going through I'm reverse aging. I'm taking care of a nutritional deficiency that I had for decades. And so I've grown 2 centimeters. Let's give it up, man. I've grown 2 centimeters over the past year. And so as the spine, rebuilds the cartilage, you go through, it doesn't necessarily feel all that great all the time. And so I started to get like a peripheral neuropathy. These fingers would start to tingle and go numb when I was at the computer. So I stopped going live, and I just took time off of the computer, and I'm, got a bunch of messages I didn't answer. And so it goes. And as I'm rebuilding, and, the peripheral neuropathy went away, and I continue to feel stronger, and even some of the gray hair is getting its color back, so that's everything is beautiful, and that result. But I know what it's to go live, to go viral with live streaming, and so so this is, this trend is what you'll see when you do a live broadcast. But the game has changed because people like me are using tools. This tool that I'm using to broadcast. You see the spinning earth there, and then I have Chicago and Paris, right? I fly back and forth from Chicago to Paris. I got a girl in France that... the light of my life. Let's give a shout out to my daughter. And I've got a scroll underneath with the banner there. That's all something that I put together. And this thing, right, which with the thing that moves, right, and my head that goes over. So all of that is by design, and then I can move through here. And I can move through the different media, so I can share my screen instantly. So the game has changed. So if you're sitting there with your live broadcast and going, "Oh, Dad, let me screen share," There's my laugh track. And as you see right here's music. Now when I speak, the music goes down, and when I stop speaking, the music goes up. All right. So the game has changed. Professional broadcasts are now like this are coming online. So you not only can you not just go live, you have to go live and you have to have something to talk about. And so was just so it was unbelievable. In Chicago, the Sun Times, which is a newspaper, and WBEZ, National Public Radio, they decided to team up to create this app, right? And so you go here and you go like that. And so you're supposed to submit a photo of ICE agents that you see, right? ICE agents. Why? So you can get their address and you can follow them around and you can take pot shots at them like Charlie Kirk and stab them in the neck like the girl on the train. I mean, not cool, man. Not cool at all. So I did this post, right? And it got 400 plus views overnight, and that's the power of live streaming. So any public affairs position or public relations position, if you're not integrating some sort of live broadcast, and even to the point where you're doing Zoom interview, right, offline, and then have a live broadcast and say, hey, this is the interview, and play the interview. It doesn't necessarily have to be something as involved like this, but it's just got to be good quality. And so when you come to feeds like this, right? So here's a post by Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, right? So they're showing the worst of the worst, all these scumbags that they're booting out of the country. It's awesome. And then they'll post, like on LinkedIn and whatever. Here, got this scumbag. And so you get these goofballs who just post the same pictures of Jeffrey Epstein, the same pictures. And what these morons haven't figured out is that the LinkedIn and Google says, okay, this guy's posting the same crap over and over again. That's a spammer. And so that profile, no matter what the person does, what they post, it will be delisted because that person is being identified as a spammer. As in comparison to if you're live streaming, then you're put at like the top of the stack. The only problem is that if you're streaming like copyrighted music, so on and so forth, so it's always good to get YouTube approved music if you're doing an intro or outro like I do. I just have my own music that I've written and created that I use, so I've bypassed that whole thing altogether. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna, I played this yesterday, I'm just gonna play this again because it's just so unbelievable. All right.
In the country. He's worse than
Pritzker.
Is the worst governor in the country. He's worse than Newsom, and it's hard to believe that you could be worse than Newsom. And the reason is that Pritzker doesn't tell the truth. All right? I hate the word lies, but he misleads his own people in Illinois and the nation. So from 2014 to last year, 10 years, there have been more than 7,000 human beings murdered in the city of Chicago.
That is correct.
And Pritzker will tell it's going down. It doesn't help the people in the cemetery, and it isn't going down significantly based on the Labor Day weekend stats that were horrific.
58.
So Pritzker doesn't want to solve the problem.
That's more, 7,000 people have died in Chicago. That's more than the Iraq War. I believe 4,000 people died in the Iraq War over the past 10 years. So we have an opportunity. That's why I'm doing these live posts, and that's why I'm so motivated, because we have an opportunity to get the federal government in here to change it. And so this is what I want to tell the federal government, the Trump administration, and ISIS as well. You can't use the word midway blitz without referring to the coach, my friend. Okay, you got to come in here like the '85 Bears. All right, you have to be superstars. That's what we're expecting. That's what the coach is expecting. Right? That's what the Singletary Samurai is expecting. You have to, if you're gonna use the word midway blitz, you gotta come in with the force of the Super Bowl champion '85 Bears, my friend. And you have to save Chicago, because we want you to save Chicago. All right? This is life in Chicago.
Man, Trump talking about something. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. You about to find out why it's called direct.
I live in an area, if I call the police, they may take 40 to 50 minutes to come there, if they come at all.
Respect. What's up, bro? What's up? Come on.
Y'all really gonna let Trump send a National Guard in y'all like that?
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're in a blue city that's fixing to get the National Guard sent in to crack down on crime, and your first reaction is, oh, you're going to run up there and get your little piece and run out in there and try to push back against them and fight back and say this is war and this is that, let me be the first to tell you, there will be no golden casket or George Floyd treatment for you.
So we got Chicago's gangsters and thugs saying they got switches for Trump's National Guard.
Take it. Take everything. Take everything. Take everything.
A car pulled up on the other side of the street. As soon as we saw the doors open and three men rushing at us, guns drawn.
Yeah, he was like, give me everything. So I just started throwing stuff at him.
Chicago, the fact that you guys think that your switches and your Glocks is going to stop the National Guard, think again. This the National Guard.
Yeah, baby, the National Guard. And no matter what the media says, no matter what the Sun-Times says, Chicago is done with this crime epidemic. They're done with the scumbags, all right? They're done with the worst of the worst. Get them the F out of here, all right? This is fantastic work. These are people from Iraq, Georgia, in Russia, Ukrainians, Guatemalans, Hondurans, and Mexicans, so as well. But it's not all against the Mexican people. So all of that, weeping that it's attacking the Mexican culture, it's just not true. All right, they are going for the worst of the worst. We're sick of it. We're done, and I've got the unique skills to run the media campaign that changes Chicago forever. We need the National Guard. All right, we need the cities like Austin, Lawndale. We need them all cleaned up, man. We're done. We're done. And so let's get a TikTok account, let's get a Rumble account, let's go to where the people, the kids are. Let's try to get like resources instead of paying immigrants, to house immigrants and give them food and diapers, illegal immigrants. Why don't we take that money and give it to these kids in these screwed up neighborhoods? Let's create programs, boxing clubs, dancing, computer programs, doing things that will occupy. Idle hands are the devil's handiwork. Will occupy these kids, give them a skill, and set them up for a better life. Okay, that's where the reason. It should be a sanctuary for Americans, not a sanctuary for criminals. Right? Sanctuary city. What a bunch of insanity. All right. So if you want to go viral, you got to go live. and you have to go. You have to do it consistency. And so when you see these people that are just posting, photos of Jeffrey Epstein, they're shooting themselves in the foot. They are identifying that they're spammers. They have nothing to say. They just are. They're just noise. They're not adding to the conversation. And how can you not want to get rid of these sex offenders? Sexual predator right here. Right? Criminal history includes armed robbery with a firearm, DUI. Why wouldn't you want to get these people out of the thing? Detroit arrested. He's been convicted of 3 felonies, 3rd-degree fleeing police officer, assaulting, resisting, and mystery gang member. Why would you not get these people out of the country? Why would you? What do we? What do we going to need them here for? To house them in a prison and feed and so on and so forth. Don't listen to the media. Chicago is done. We're done. Make Chicago great again. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you tomorrow. Au revoir.